Look at the edge of a modern coin. Those tiny ridges. They look decorative, almost pointless. But they're not decoration. They're basically the fossil record of an old crime. Because for a long time, money wasn't just money. A coin was literally a small disc of valuable metal. And its value came from its weight. So if you could remove a little bit of that metal without anyone noticing, you could steal value in slow motion. That crime had a name: clipping. People would shave tiny slivers from the edge of gold and silver coins. Not enough to make the coin obviously smaller, just enough to be sneaky. Do that to one coin, it's nothing. Do it to thousands, you end up with a pile of precious metal and a bunch of normal-looking coins that are now slightly underweight. And here's what made clipping so dangerous. It didn't just hurt one person, it poisoned trust. Because once people suspected coins might be underweight, every transaction became a tiny argument. Merchants would reject coins. People would weigh money. Good coins disappeared into hiding, and the ugly, damaged ones stayed in circulation. That's the kind of problem that can mess with an entire economy. So mints needed a way to answer one simple question. How do we make it obvious if someone touched the edge? And that's where the ridges come in. Instead of leaving the edge smooth, mints started adding patterns to it. Sometimes it was lettering, sometimes a decorative design, and very often a tight ring of tiny grooves. Because the moment you try to shave that edge, you destroy the pattern. A smooth edge can lose a tiny slice and still look smooth. But a ridged edge, you don't just remove metal, you remove the proof. It's like a tamper seal on a bottle. If the seal is broken, you don't need a lab test to know something happened. That's why you'll sometimes hear ridged edges called milled edges. The pattern wasn't carved by hand. It was produced by machines designed to make coin edges uniform and hard to mess with. And this is a really important detail. Those machines didn't just add ridges for security. They also made coins more consistent. Same diameter, same thickness, same neat shape. That consistency matters because clipping thrives on inconsistency. If coins are already a bit irregular, it's easier to hide that you changed one. So the ridges weren't a random design choice. They were part of a bigger upgrade, turning coins from handmade metal discs into precision-made objects. Here's the twist. Clipping may be the original villain, but it isn't the only reason ridged edges survived into modern coins. Because once you add ridges, you accidentally get a bunch of bonus features. And modern coin design loves bonus features. For example, touch. If you've ever noticed that some coins are ridged and some are smooth, that's not an accident either. It helps people identify coins quickly without looking. And for people with low vision or blindness, edge differences can be a real accessibility feature. A smooth edge feels completely different from a reeded edge, and different patterns can help separate similar-sized coins. Another bonus, grip. Coins are small, smooth, and can get slippery. Those ridges make coins easier to pick up, stack, and handle without sliding around as much. It's subtle, but once you notice it, you can't unnotice it. Try picking up a smooth coin off a smooth table, then try a ridged one. And then there's the modern world bonus. Machines. Coins today don't just pass through human hands. They pass through vending machines, coin sorters, parking meters, counting machines, and rolling systems at banks. Those systems don't see coins like humans do. They measure. They compare. They check size, weight, thickness, and sometimes even how metal responds to electromagnetic fields. And the edge matters because it affects how reliably a coin moves through a machine. A patterned edge can help reduce slipping, improve feeding consistency, and help machines separate similar coins more cleanly. So, even when clipping stopped being the everyday crisis it once was, ridged edges still earned their place. They became part security feature, part usability feature, part machine-friendly design. Now you might be thinking, okay, but if ridges are so useful, why don't all coins have ridges? Because coin design is always a trade-off. Security versus cost. Durability versus simplicity. Tradition versus practicality. Historically, ridges were most important on coins made of precious metals, because that's where clipping paid off. Gold and silver were worth the effort. But for low-value coins, adding complex edge features can be more expensive than it's worth. And if a coin's metal isn't valuable enough to shave for profit, the original anti-clipping reason becomes less urgent. That's why, in many countries, the smallest denomination coins often have plain edges, while higher denominations are more likely to be reeded or patterned. There's also a design language thing happening. A coin edge is like a tiny fingerprint. Different denominations often use different edge styles on purpose. Smooth, reeded, partially reeded, lettered, or some combination. That helps people sort coins quickly, and it helps machines do it even faster. So the milling mystery is really a story of evolution. It starts with a world where coins were raw value, where shaving a coin was basically stealing from every future owner. Then, it moves into a world where mints fought back with precision edges, patterns, and lettering that made tampering obvious. And finally, it lands in the modern world, where those same ridges are still useful, even if most people have no idea why they exist. So next time you have a coin in your hand, run your thumb along the edge. You're feeling a security system. A design choice born from fraud, rebuilt into a tool for accessibility, handling, and machine reliability. Those ridges are a tiny message from the past. Don't mess with the edge. And here's a fun thought to end on. If coins needed ridges to protect their value, what's the modern version of coin clipping today? Not with metal, but with digital money, digital trust, and systems that can be exploited in tiny, invisible ways. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Thanks.